You're listening to the Strategic Foresight for Asia podcast. We break down the geostrategic forces shaping Pakistan and the region, delivering foresight and bringing expert analysis and practitioner insights on the trends and choices defining our future.
Hello, hi. I am Adil Sultan, Director StrafAsia, Pakistan. Today we will be discussing the recent report about the potential nuclear cooperation agreement between United States and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As per the news report, this new proposed nuclear cooperation agreement between the two countries would be for 30 years, and it does include the possibility of establishing enrichment and reprocessing technology on the Saudi soil. The Trump administration plan has yet to be approved by the US Congress, and it is likely to raise certain eyebrows. From the US perspective, probably this is a commercial deal. It will bring billions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. And if this deal is not materialized, the Saudis they might approach other vendors like China and Russia. So for Trump being a businessman, he doesn't want to lose this chance. From the Saudi perspective, the nuclear cooperation agreement would help them diversify their energy mix because the energy demands are growing, the AI data centers are being built. This is around the world, more and more energy is required. So nuclear energy is one of the safest and source of energy that several countries are pursuing. Why this nuclear cooperation is important at this particular moment, and what are the technical and potentially legal implications of this nuclear cooperation agreement? I'll just briefly talk about these issues. At this moment, United States and Israel are in a state of war with Iran. This whole war that started last year, once United States and Israel they bombed Iran's nuclear facilities, and then the conflict started April this year. This was premised on a single argument that Iran will not be allowed to develop nuclear weapons program. Iran, on the other hand, said they never wanted to build a nuclear weapon, but they have the right to pursue peaceful uses of nuclear technology. So that was the bone of contention between the two sides. At this moment, once the United States is arguing that they will not allow enrichment technologies or Iran enriching their uranium, at the same moment, if they allow Saudis to have this enrichment, this is going to complicate the nuclear issue with Iran. Iran is going to further harden its position as and when the negotiations over Iran's nuclear program they resume. For now, unlikely, but they have now a template, and they would definitely argue that if Saudi Arabia can be allowed to have enrichment and reprocessing technology, if and when approved, the Iranians also have the right because, like Saudi Arabia, Iran also is the NPT, the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty signatory, and as per the Article 4 of the NPT, the signatories are allowed to pursue peaceful uses of nuclear technology. So that is going to be problematic. The other issue is that Israel is likely to be unhappy unless the United States and Israel they have already discussed the possibility of having nuclear cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia. Because earlier the Biden administration also preconditioned nuclear cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia if the Saudis they normalize their relations with Israel. The Saudis didn't agree, so Biden administration they didn't allow nuclear cooperation agreement. But the Trump administration has not conditioned the normalization of relations with Israel with the potential nuclear cooperation agreement. So this is something different. It is also likely to raise certain concerns amongst the other GCC countries, the aspirants. Kuwait, Bahrain, they are the potential two countries pursuing peaceful uses of nuclear technology, and they also want to build nuclear power plants in the distant future. Now they have a template, they can ask similar kind of concessions from the United States. Another country that is not likely to be happy out of this nuclear cooperation agreement, the proposed nuclear cooperation agreement between Saudi Arabia and United States is the United Arab Emirates. UAE, once it was negotiating the nuclear cooperation agreement with the United States, they were not allowed to have enrichment and reprocessing technologies. And at that time, United States clearly stated that all future nuclear cooperation agreement would preclude the possibility of providing enrichment and reprocessing technology. And this was termed as the new gold standard that the United States will also follow, and it will push other countries also to follow this gold standard and not to provide enrichment and reprocessing technology. Another important factor is the nuclear suppliers guidelines, which were amended in 2011. As per the nuclear suppliers guideline, first the nuclear suppliers group, what it is, the nuclear suppliers group basically regulates the provision of civil nuclear technology to other countries. And it has certain guidelines to ensure that peaceful nuclear technology provided to other countries should not be misused for any other means, especially for the military means. And this nuclear suppliers group came into existence in 1974. Once India demonstrated that peaceful nuclear fuel cycle can be misused for developing nuclear weapons program, and hence NSG came into existence, and the guidelines were later drafted and revised periodically to ensure that the proliferation activities could be stopped. So in 2011, the NSG categorically stated that they will not provide enrichment and reprocessing technology or strongly regulate these technology unless the recipient state has strong non-proliferation credentials or they fit in a specific criterion, which also includes, beside the signing of the NPT, the signing of additional protocol. The Saudis haven't signed the additional protocol. So that's one exemption that is likely to raise eyebrows amongst the non-proliferation community and also within the United States once this deal will be negotiated. United States so far has signed almost 26 agreements with around 50 countries, and they term all their nuclear cooperation agreement, the peaceful nuclear cooperation agreement, as 1, 2, 3. But for a long time, United States hasn't produced new nuclear reactors. On the other hand, Chinese, Russians, and South Koreans, they have been developing new and safer nuclear reactors, and that is why most of the countries, they want to buy from these three countries, or Japan maybe possibly. Once United Arab Emirates was pursuing establishing nuclear power plants on its territory, so United States also competed in those bids, but UAE opted the South Korean nuclear power plants because they consider these are more safe, and because United States hasn't developed or produced a nuclear power plant for a long time, in decades, the nuclear industry is redundant. And one of the reasons of having the US-Saudi nuclear cooperation agreement could be because President Trump wants to revive the US nuclear industry. They are lagging in this context. On the other hand, the Chinese and Russians, they are producing new reactors, and the larger reactors and the more safer ones with modern designs as per the IEA specification. But interestingly, the Saudis, they have engaged into nuclear cooperation agreement with with United States. There could be, besides their desire to pursue peaceful nuclear technology, there could also be looking for political benefits of having nuclear cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia, as India did. What India did once they negotiated the nuclear cooperation agreement, 1 to 3 agreement with the United States in 2008, they got the political support and backing of United States, and the NSG member countries also eased certain restrictions for India, but India never bought a nuclear power plant from United States till date. The whole premise of India-US nuclear deal that was sold, the argument that was being sold to the US public was that nuclear deal with India would create 50,000 jobs and bring billions of dollars of money to United States. Now, the same argument might be applied to Saudi Arabia. So Saudi Arabia probably they might get this nuclear deal and political benefit of this nuclear deal, but once it comes to buying nuclear power plants, they might opt to different vendors. But again, if the United States has this, if United States negotiates strict conditions and they don't allow Saudi Arabia to buy nuclear power plant from any third country, so that could be problematic in that sense. Finally, for a long time, there had been concerns about Pakistan and Saudi Arabia's nuclear collaboration. After this nuclear cooperation agreement, once United States will have a complete hold over their nuclear program, the civilian nuclear program, probably these rumors should also rest in peace. And also the reference about strategic mutual defense agreement. Some commentators had been talking about the potential nuclear umbrella that Pakistan might offer to Saudi Arabia after this nuclear deal and United States close partnership with Saudi Arabia on nuclear issues. Probably those rumors would also end. As more details come in and there is more commentary on this, we will continue to follow this United States and Saudi nuclear cooperation agreement. Thank you for watching.